Hello. Welcome to Rise and Inspire LA. I am your girl, Naraya Ahava, and welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of self-love. Cliche, I know, but it's cliche because it's super important, right? All you have is yourself, and you can't sometimes, I'm sure all of us have been guilty of being very hard on ourselves at times, especially as they say hindsight is 2020. So sometimes when things happen in life, we'll look back on it and say, damn, I knew better, or damn, why did I do that, or why did that have to happen, or things like that. And it's like, I feel like the first step to your self-love and self-acceptance journey is not only acceptance of self, but also recognizing your areas for improvement or opportunities, you could say. Because, some people are triggered when you say flaws or shortcomings or what have you. So we can pretty it up and say, what are my opportunities for growth? What are my opportunities for becoming better? And we have to understand that we're human. We have to understand that we are going to make mistakes, and that we're not perfect. We can strive to be, but the steps to kind of getting there, I feel like is, like I said, understanding your triggers. I feel like it's a mistake to have the attitude or the mindset of, oh, this is just how I am. You know, this is just how I am. It is what it is, and that's it. Especially if it becomes problematic, if you've been told multiple times by multiple people about a particular issue or personality trait or something that you have going on, and you can't forever use the excuse of, this is just how I am. So, in a case like that, okay, that's an opportunity for growth. And even if you're not being told by other people, you know yourself. You know you better than anybody else. So let's say you realize that you're impatient, for example. Realize that once you acknowledge that and you say, okay, this is an area of opportunity for me, this is something I want to work on, this is something I want to get better with, please trust and believe that you are going to be put in opportunities and in situations where you need to practice patience. Whether that be you are in this lovely Los Angeles traffic, or you're surrounded by people that test your patience, or it's like sometimes we have those days where it's like literally nothing can go right, and you're going to have those moments. So make sure when you accept and you're ready to say, this is something I want to work on, this is something I want to get better on, you are going to be presented with opportunities in your life and with situations that are going to, you're really going to be put to the test of, okay, is this something that you really want to work on? Like, are you really about that life? Are you really about this growth life? Because you're going to be given opportunities for it. Trust and believe. So that's just an example, but you know yourself. Be honest with yourself. That's one thing. You can lie to other people. Don't lie to yourself. Don't even think about lying to yourself, girl. Like, just own it, accept it, and say, okay, this is something I could get better with, and just be intentional about it, and be patient, and be loving with yourself. I feel like a lot of times we tend to be loving and kind of patient with others, and then when it comes to ourselves, we're like hella hard on ourselves, and it doesn't have to be that way. You are human. You're going to make mistakes. Your loved ones, people around you, are going to make mistakes. So give yourself that same grace that you would extend to other people. That's all I'm saying. And I feel like a huge part of your self-love journey is going to be acting on what you need and not what you want, because they are not always one and the same. Just some of my personal testimony. Within the past couple of years, I realized that in the past, I kind of had a tendency when it came to some of my relationships. If I was used to not getting my needs met within a relationship, even if I understood that from a logical, standpoint, hey, I'm not getting what I want here. Like, this doesn't make me feel good, or if it was, I don't feel appreciated, I don't feel valued, whatever the situation was, I understood, okay, I'm not getting my needs met here. But I would stay in a situation because I felt, even though it wasn't what I wanted, it's what felt familiar, which is crazy, but a lot of us do that. We tend to gravitate towards the familiar, even if from a logical, intelligent, intellectual standpoint, we understand this isn't right, or this doesn't feel good, or this isn't what I want, or this isn't fulfilling me, or even if this is making me unhappy. But sometimes we'll stay in situations, and it doesn't necessarily have to be within the confines of a relationship, even romantically. It could be a friendship, it could be a job, it could be, a housing situation, it could be anything. But it's like we gravitate to what's familiar, and sometimes it takes real intentionality and awareness to say, I'm going to break this. I'm going to break this pattern because this is a pattern that I have. I'm aware that I have it, and it needs to change. So that's, like I said, it's one of the first steps of really making changes and having that growth is you have to be brutally honest with yourself and understand, okay, what are my patterns? What are my unhealthy ways that I move through life that aren't really serving me? Forget others for this particular moment, but it's like there's things that we may be doing that we're not serving ourselves, and we're not doing ourselves justice. So we have to be aware of those things that we may be used to and say, okay, I'm used to this. This feels familiar, but if this isn't right and this isn't what I want, I have to remove it. I have to pull myself out of that situation, and that's a process, but it is something that we have to make ourselves aware of so that we can make change, so that we can implement self love and doing what's really good and what's best for us, And another way that you can do that, aside from wants versus needs, is you have to know what your boundaries are, and you have to be willing to enforce them. So sometimes we find ourselves in situations that either aren't serving us or don't make us feel good because we're afraid of hurting someone else by enforcing a boundary, because we think it'll make someone else upset or make someone else mad. But how is that making you feel? Is that serving you? Is that good for your mind? Is that good for your heart? Is it good for your spirit? If not, you have to put yourself first. And I think a common misconception is that self love and looking out for yourself first is selfish. To a degree, you have to be selfish. You know, you are no good to nobody else if you are not right within yourself. If your mental is off, if your emotional is off, if your spirit, if you are just off, you can't give what you don't have. You can't pour from an empty cup. So sometimes you do have to be selfish, and you have to recognize that when you get to a point of when you're feeling depleted, that may be time that you need to regroup and reevaluate your boundaries and how you interact. And sometimes people can try to guilt us for setting boundaries, but they're there for a reason. You know, you are your own personal real estate. Your mind, your heart, your spirit, your being. You have to love on that, and you have to take care of that, and you have to disregard, okay, if this is what's best for me, I don't care if it's going to make someone mad. Because keep in mind that the people that get upset when you set and you enforce boundaries are people that benefited by you having none. People that truly love you, people that recognize that this is not okay for you, they're going to respect your boundaries and they're going to honor them. And we're human, we make mistakes, so it's nothing wrong with, once you make a boundary known to someone else, if you have to give them a gentle reminder or something like that. But if someone continuously breaks or tries to overstep a boundary after you've made it clear, understand that person doesn't respect your boundary, and you need to reevaluate having that person around or having the same type of relationship or dynamic with them that you have now. And then also, the wants versus needs is very important, because a lot of times in life we can get caught up on things that we want, but it may not be what's best for us, and it may not be what we need. Um, Sometimes we look at things we might be in a scarcity mindset. We may think, this is the best option at the moment, so we just gonna rock with it. That's never a good place to be. And a good approach to that would be, if it's something small, like let's say it's a bag, a pair of shoes, something kind of materialistic, something small, give it a day. Give it a solid 24 hours and before you move on it. If after 24 hours you still want it, and of course, depending on what it is, if you could comfortably get it, sure, live your best life. Go ahead and get it. When it comes to big life-changing decisions, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to career moves, when it comes to possibly relocating really major things, I would suggest that ask yourself, hey, if nothing about this situation changes 6 months from now, a year from now, this situation doesn't change at all, this person doesn't change at all, would I be happy if I stay? Would I be happy if I stay? Or would I look back 6 months or a year from now and I'm going to be kicking myself because I knew better and I didn't make a move to do something different? You know? Because, like I said, sometimes we gravitate to the familiar, sometimes we just kind of settle somewhere that really isn't what's best for us, and we may have outgrown a situation, we may have outgrown a location, a job, a person, whatever, but it's familiar. We grew up with this person, or we've been at this job for however many years, and we stay, but we feel stagnant. We feel like we're not moving. We feel like we're just existing and we're not living, and that's not the way to be. So you have to periodically evaluate things. You have to do a wants versus needs. You have to kind of ask yourself, am I growing? Do I feel like I'm thriving? Do I feel just kind of like I'm just going through the motions? I'm just running on fumes here, because that's not good, and that's not going to help you live your best life and feel fulfilled. You know, so these are the things that I have come up with that I think will really help you to focus on loving yourself. Because you can't love anyone else if you're not loving yourself, if you're not centered within yourself. And it kind of all starts from there. So that is all that I have for you. I want to thank you for watching this video, and I want to ask you to like and subscribe to Rise and Inspire LA if you enjoyed this content. And also feel free to shop my store, shopahavalux.com. And until next time, be safe, be blessed.